If you are on a path to growth and you want to grow faster and stronger, consider adding this mindset to your life. It has to do with relationships. When I was introduced to this concept, it completely changed the way that I think about relationships. As I've started practicing it, it's completely changed my life. If you're someone who tends to lose yourself in a relationship, you've probably done a lot of reading and studying on codependence, the feeling of needing someone to be okay. If you are someone who is independent and can get it done on your own, you probably pride yourself on your ability to not need anyone in order to be able to get by. The concept of interdependence was one that was introduced to me first in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Here's what he says about interdependence. Dependent people need others to get what they want. Independent people can get what they want through their own efforts. Interdependent people combine their efforts with the efforts of others to achieve their greatest success. So, in your relationships, learn to grow out of codependence or dependence upon somebody else, a need to have them in order to get what you want in life, past independence, which is, I've got it, I'm good on my own, and all the way to interdependence, which is, I've got it, I'm good on my own, but I choose partnership, relationship, the value that others can bring as I bring my own value to that relationship so that we can start moving towards what we want and together become exponential. I grew up with the idea that partnership, and especially life partnership, meant two people who were kind of deficient on their own coming together to make a whole. So when I was looking for partnership, I was like Jerry Maguire looking for somebody to complete me. And when I started to feel like I lost myself, like I had to compromise too much of myself, like I couldn't be myself anymore, I started on a path towards independence. And that independence said, I don't need anyone. And in fact, no one can meet every need for me, which was absolutely the truth. I started to realize it was my responsibility to meet the needs and wants that I had, and that if other people came along that helped in that, that was great. When I met my current partner, we both had been in a relationship where we had lost ourselves in someone else and had felt totally codependent, and where we had been so hyper independent that it felt like we weren't even in relationship. We felt lonely in our relationships. And we both came to this relationship saying, I want to be a whole person. I want freedom and independence on my own, but I also want a partnership, somebody that I can trust, that I can lean into, that we can have deep connection and intimacy, and that we grow together because of both of those things. And because of that, this relationship has been the most challenging relationship that I've ever had and the most rewarding. A feeling of that there's nothing ever in between because my individuality is not threatened. This feeling of I've got someone that I can trust because we're both looking out for each other's best interests and both looking out for the growth of the other. This interdependence has created a dynamic where we can be independent and dependent on others at the exact same time, never lose ourselves, and never have to do it on our own. For you to aim for interdependence, it might be helpful to know why we get dependent or independent in the first place. More often than not, those are unconscious choices that we've made to protect us from hurt that we've had in our life. Someone who's codependent might have been taught that they can't trust themselves, they can't figure it out on their own, and they need someone else to lead or to guide them. Someone who's independent has been given the tools to say, I can do it on my own, but often that independence comes because they have been hurt by someone else. They trusted someone else and they let them down, and they said, I can only trust myself. Codependence says, I can't trust myself. Hyper independence says, I can only trust myself. So when we recognize the default choices that we've made, we can start looking at, are these things true? Can I learn to trust myself? Can I learn to trust others? Can I learn to trust myself better because I trust others? To trust others better because I learn to trust myself. When we can start building the muscle of trust for ourselves and trust for other people at the same time, that we each bring something of value to this relationship. When we come whole to the relationship, we have the ability to multiply the relationship to an exponential level. Remember that the decisions that you've made as a default reaction to the game that most people are playing in life are radical acts of self-love to protect you, but that might not help you to thrive. So when you make a decision to be independent because someone let you down, they hurt you, they left you, they promised you something and then never followed through, you made a decision, I can only trust myself. Or that you become so dependent on someone else that you have to do everything you can to keep them. You will morph yourself into whatever is necessary just to compromise, just to keep from rocking the boat, just to keep them around, because if they leave, that might be devastating. In both of those situations, you preserve yourself, but it means that you lose yourself. And it costs us dearly. It costs us our independence and it costs us our connection. There's also a third way that some people take, and that is to never access fully the connection and the independence that's available in partnership. So they move through partnership without the connection and without the independence, and it becomes this boring, tasteless, ineffectual partnership. So I would ask you to look for a different way. If what you have feels like codependence or just independence, choosing to look for interdependence might create a new path forward for you. When I think about what the exponential game is in relationship, it is interdependence. It's not just about showing up and having someone else to do life with you, but showing up and giving the best of yourself while your partner gives the best of their selves to be able to move forward towards what you want even more powerfully. The exponential game of interdependence says, I take care of my own wants and needs, and I allow you to support me. It also says, I trust you to take care of your wants and needs, and I will give generously to helping you meet them along the way. Here's another quote from Seven Habits. If I am emotionally interdependent, I derive a great sense of worth from myself, but I also recognize the need for love, for giving, and for receiving love from others. If I am intellectually interdependent, I realize that I need the best thinking of others to join with my own. The exponential game is to learn to accept the best parts of both. I am capable on my own, and I am connected to others. Together, we both win. Can you start to see how interdependence can uplevel your world, uplevel your life, uplevel your partnership, and set you on the path to becoming exponential? If you want to learn how to become more interdependent in your relationship, it's going to take practice. It's something you got to go put into action. Here are a couple of ways to do that. First, grab the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The first few habits that he teaches are how to become independent. The last few habits that he teaches are how to become interdependent. Practice becoming independent first. Once you've got that down, turn it back around to interdependence. You can find a copy of 7 Habits on my website in the book section. Before even reading the book, just know where you fit. Do you feel like you live your life needing other people in order for you to get what you want? If so, begin a practice of learning to trust yourself, of building your own internal resources. Do you feel like that you are independent, like you can go create what you want on your own? Keep being in that practice and then learn to understand where you are overly independent, where you've put independence as a protection from the fear of being let down. Lastly, if you want to deep dive into this practice, I have a coaching program called Becoming Exponential. And in it, I have a path called the Exponential Partner. In the Exponential Partner, you'll learn how to become independent on your own, how to become interdependent, and build that trust back for yourself as well as trust for others. Whatever path that you take, add the mindset of, I am becoming interdependent, and run forward as fast as you can on your path to becoming exponential.